not to me, it's to him. He says he will not come down 1 ounce. It's a 160-pound belt, and that's what he's going to fight at. If he doesn't want to, he can go on and leave the belt.
Are you guys planning as if the Canelo fight is not going to happen, or are you going to remain open?
No, that's Tom's deal, and I'm sure he's not planning that. I'm sure that he hopes that Canelo says yes, because it's, for all of us, I think it's a fight that we want to see. I'm a fan too.
We talk about the belts, but I mean, at some point, people want to see him win with a big name. Isn't the big name just maybe even more important, especially at 34 years old for him?
You know what? If you have to have a hold a gun that somebody said to get him in the ring with, I mean, that's not something we can do. That's now maybe you guys can get on Canelo's case and force the fight. We're willing to fight. We want to fight for the belt. When back in the Rosado days, I think HBO gave me 20 names. They asked me which one I would not fight, and I okayed all of them. I gave it back to Tom, and I okayed all of them. At this point, there's nobody out there that we won't fight at 160. At 160, if he moves up, it's got to be a significant fight. It's got to be a fight that makes sense for him financially. If not, then we'll just keep going towards the unification of the belts, 1, and 2, Hopkins' record. Now, as I said in another press conference, has there ever been any fighter in any era, in any weight, that has dominated a division like he's dominating right now? All knockouts. Hopkins didn't have all knockouts. What if he goes and breaks Hopkins' record with all knockouts? We can criticize all we want the opposition, but you realize that Hagler fought a Leonard, who had moved up 1 fight to fight Kaluli, won that title, and it took off 3 years to fight Marvin, and he beat Marvin. So, and then you look at some of the fighters that Marvin fought, you have a lot of the same kind of fighters that we fight. He really didn't have that many marquee fighters that he fought on his record. He has had some champions. I don't think we've ever fought somebody that's not in the top 10. I think most of the guys have been in the top 5. There's been a couple champions, but nobody in any era, in any division, has ever dominated a division like Golovkin.
Abel, I want to feed off a little bit of what he said. Actually, it's perceived that Canelo is the toughest challenge for Golovkin, and wouldn't he want to challenge himself, and therefore, it'll get to the point where he has to make the fight with Canelo happen, even if he has to move down or something.
He doesn't have to do anything.
Challenge himself.
No. Why would he have to? Why would he give in into a diva? Why would he give in to somebody that's trying to change boxing? 155 is not a division. I think we have 17 divisions in boxing right now. Why do we need any more for?
He's walking through all his opponents. I mean, it's that Canelo seems to be the only challenge out there.
And then when he knocks Canelo, what are you guys going to say? He's got to fight Klitschko? Both of them. Both of them at the same time. That's what he just said right now. It comes a point where it gets ridiculous because he has goals himself. And one of the goals is to equal the great Bernard Hopkins. I mean, Bernard Hopkins is the last middleweight unified champion. He wants to equal that first. And then if he happens to win more defenses, that's even better for him. He has a hell of a lot of respect for Bernard and what he done. So to equal that mark would be something that nobody else has done.
Yeah. You guys don't want to come. You guys don't want to come down and wait, but
we don't have to come down and wait.
No, but everybody, Floyd, everybody's had that thing where they had to be the B-side. They had to give up certain concessions in order to get to where they want to. And if he did that, I mean, those 2-3 pounds would actually mean more to Gennady just to get that fight and move to that next strategy.
It would mean nothing to us. It would mean nothing to us. It would mean nothing to us other than a bigger paycheck. But he's getting very good money right now. He's happy fighting at 160 pounds. Again, if once he wins the title, has the title himself, and he's a unified champion, then things can change. Then negotiations can happen. But until he's a unified champion, he's not gonna bow down to a diva.
Are you a victim of your own success?
That could be true. That could be true. But you know what? If Canelo doesn't fight him for the WBC title, then he not only does he take on another 15 contenders that deserve a chance to fight for the title, because everybody works their way up. And once those other 15 contenders, they're going to want a shot too. So we take on, we have consequences by winning a title. What does that mean? If we don't fight this fight tonight, he gets the belt stripped, just like Tyson Fury got his belt stripped. And we worked too hard to get to that point for us to not to fight it. Now, if he wins the WBC title, and WBC says you got to fight the #1 contender, then what do? We're not going to give it up. We're going to fight the WBC #1 contender. That's just part of what he wants to do as a fighter and as a guy that wants to go down in history.
Have you got a sense from Mauricio Suleiman that he
will
There
make
is,
him.
there is a letter in place that I have a copy of that was signed by the Golden Boy people and by the K2 people and by Gennady and Reynoso's that says they have 15 days after the 7th to decide whether they want to fight or not. If they decide they do want to fight, they got 30 days to negotiate. If they decide that they can't come to terms, then it goes to purse bid. And it clearly states that the purse bid will be conducted and will be fought under WBC rules. There's certain percentages that go to each fighter, and there's certain length of time for the winning promoter to stage it. And it also says that it's the middleweight title. It's not the Canelo weight title, it's the middleweight title, which is 160 pounds. So the 15 days after the 7th is probably the most important part of all this. I mean, we'll find out.
Is Canelo, you just right now said, is he scared to take this fight? Is that what you think it is? And what do you think it is?
Like Gennady said a little while ago, he's a warrior. He's a warrior and he's a good fighter and he's improved a heck of a lot. But the business of boxing today, I think, supersedes anything that we want to see.
You think it's Oscar?
Oh, of course it's Oscar. Of course, it has to be. Look, who else does he have? We took Lemieux from him. Now Lemieux's not the star that he could have been. And now Canelo's the only one left.
What kind of repercussions will there be from the Mexican fight ban? Looking at Canelo, acting like he doesn't want to take on.
That's something that I wait till the 7th. I wait till those 15 days. I think that as a Mexican, and with the history of Mexican boxing and the fans that were here today, they expect something from their heroes. They expect something from their idols. They expect something from Canelo. And if Canelo doesn't deliver that, then I think that there's going to be repercussions. I think that they're going to turn on him. Maybe not all of them, but there's a lot of them are going to turn on him, and he's going to pay for it in one way or another.
Abel, I know you guys aren't going to cater to his demands, but is that challenge of seeing how Golovkin would fare against Canelo, is that not tempting enough?
Why not ask Canelo the same question? Isn't it a challenge to move to 160 pounds and see if he can handle it? It's the same question. It's not a matter of a challenge. It's a matter of it's a 160-pound title. Don't call yourself the middleweight champion if you're not going to fight a middleweight. Ask him the same question. Isn't it a challenge for him to see if he can, like when Leonard moved up to fight Hagler, he moved up to 160. He didn't move up to 100. He didn't demand a catch weight. He moved up the whole weight.
Abel, there's a lot of talk this week with him being on Max Kellerman's show saying that if Floyd says it's easy work, to show him it's easy work. Now, is that fight realistic at all, or are you kind of just knowing it's more just talk and propaganda at this point?
I think that Floyd is a hell of a businessman, and he has proven to all of us that he makes decisions and he talks when he talks for a reason. He's been mentioning Golovkin, maybe he has in mind. I don't know, I'm not in Floyd's head, but from day one, Golovkin's always said that his dream fight was against Floyd. Mine was against Chavez. If Floyd decides that he wants that's that challenge that you're talking about, okay? He wants the challenge, he wants to move up and challenge the 160-pounder. And for Floyd, we would drop down 154 because I think Floyd deserves that. Canelo doesn't deserve that. Floyd deserves that because of what he's done. He would drop down 154. Now, we'd be given an advantage of Floyd, but I think that's the kind of fight that it would be interesting. It would be interesting. Could he have the power that he had today? Maybe not.
So as a trainer, when you think about that fight, how do you envision it playing out? And what happens at the end?
I see a decision. I see a decision just because Floyd is such a master at what he does. I see a decision because we're going to drop down 6 pounds and give him a slight advantage. Maybe the power won't be there, but I see Floyd doing what Floyd does and it being the kind of fight that could happen twice.
Hard to imagine Gennady's power wouldn't be there.
Well, 6 pounds is a lot. You saw Chocolatito today. Chocolatito is struggling to make 112. And the snap, he was pushing his punches, the aggression wasn't there. Weight does a lot to these guys.
How special is Gennady? I mean, from what you work with a lot of fighters, how special is he and how special is he going to be remembered after he's all said and done?
I went to high school with a guy named Robert Morales, who you guys all know. And 9 months after Gennady walked into my gym, I said, right now, he's the best fighter I've ever worked with. I got one in the Hall of Fame. Terry Norris in the Hall of Fame. This guy is twice the fighter Terry was ever at 9 months. Today we saw a little more unveiling of some of the things that he does in the gym. He wanted to attack today. He wanted to go after this guy. And then when it got too easy, he put his face out there again. It just bugs the hell out of me, but there's nothing I can do about that.
Hey, but, go ahead, finish.
I said it 4 or 5 years ago. This guy's going to go down to one of the best middleweights of all times. It's just a matter of hopefully he doesn't get to be 45 before any of these guys want to fight.
Is that a real concern for you guys?
No, he unifies the belts and he breaks Hopkins' record. I think that'll place him up there somewhere.
I wanted to touch on that on Dominic Wade. He kept getting up. He was a little determined there. He kind of refused to stay down. He kept getting up. Were you impressed with that?
I was very impressed. That guy had a great amateur career, and I followed him as an amateur. And 18-0. He didn't want to lose. He didn't know how to lose. That right there, getting up, is because he didn't know how to lose. It wasn't in his DNA. I'm happy that he didn't get seriously hurt, but I was surprised. Yes.
How far is he from a complete move to 168, Abel?
4 belts.
So the weight is not an issue. It's just more of you guys
4 belts. Yes. No, he was weighing 164 30 days ago. When he did the 30-day weigh-in, he weighed 164. And then when we got here at the Dodger game, the Monday after the Sunday Dodger game, last Sunday, we weighed 162 when we started the run in the morning. So it's not a weight issue. It's an issue of greener pastures.
Hey, but was that a little subliminal attack towards Canelo, walking out with the Mexican theme song? They say he's taking some of the fans away from him. He's turning them against Canelo in a way.
No, that song has been, I think those guys have done 3 songs for him already, the duo. So no, it's got nothing to do with Canelo. Again, it's the belt. If Canelo decides to grow some and be a middleweight, then we'll fight.
Abel,
Did I hear you call Canelo a diva?
Yes, he is a diva. For wanting to change the sport that we all love and we all respect these guys for stepping through the ropes. When you make a weight that is not in any division, we have 17 weight divisions right now. You're acting like a diva. That's why I said that.
Abel, any regret not fighting Ward when he was at 168? Any regret that fight not happening? That was such a huge fight. That was a great test for both guys. Is there any regret that fight just you guys couldn't come to some sort of agreement?
It wasn't us. It wasn't us. Understand that Ward had a lot of issues with not only Dan. He got beat by Dan 3 times in court for his contract, so he had legal issues. Then he had injuries, and then no matter what he says, you can go back and talk to Tom Loeffler. We signed the Lemieux fight, and it was 20 minutes later or an hour later that they're making us an offer for a fight. We never said anything about weight or meeting in the middle. Our side never said that. It was an article posted by Dan Raphael, I believe, that he's the one that suggested that, but it had nothing to do with our side. He knew that we had just signed the Lemieux fight, 1. And 2, knew that there was understanding that after the Lemieux fight, we're going to fight Canelo, or we had a chance to fight Canelo. So we had like 2 or 3 fights already scheduled in front of us. You offer a fight now, you're offering a fight because you know we can't take it.
But aside from all that, is it still you kind of wish that you would have? Because that would have been such a big fight, great fight.
Yes, but you can't cry over spilled milk, man. And there's certain things that are not going to happen, and if that didn't happen, we'll go on to the next one. For us to look back, understand that if we were going to sit and wait for Andre, we wouldn't have 22 knockouts now. 22 knockouts. We wouldn't have 22 knockouts. We can't sit around and wait for Andre to be better, for his shoulder to be better, for his knee to be better. Tom Loeffler and his management, Gennady's management, cannot sit and wait for what he's going to do. We have to make sure that we're scheduling things ahead of them. I'm sure that they have six or 8 months already scheduled in front of us, or at least hoping everything turns out well that we can do in the future.
Guys, we're going to get Abel out of here.
Okay.
Thank you, Abel. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Abel.